we go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining me again on another conscious evolution. Today's stream topic is about how to live a meaningful life. Yesterday's topic was about challenges and specifically about how challenges can help us gain more clarity about where it is we need to grow, right? And then, as we were having this conversation, one of our friends in the space, I'll spare the names, out of respect, uh, but they know who they are, mentioned that they've been having trouble living a meaningful life, right? That there was this difficulty between taking the blue pill and the red pill, if you will, being a part of the matrix, a part of the world, the financial systems we find ourselves in right now, or being aware, being present, being their highest self. And my response in that moment was that we can do both, because that was, I feel like, the closest I could get to an answer, like a way to help, if you will. And then, by chance, I absorbed a bit of information yesterday. Already forgotten who it's by, unfortunately, but I made sure to write it down. And it's that if you're having a hard time right now, right, if you feel lost, if you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like you don't know what to do next, right, and you want to do something to make your life a little bit better, a little bit more meaningful, the best thing you can do is help someone. And upon hearing it, it like hit me a little bit. I was like, wow, I agree. The best thing you can do if you don't know what to do is help someone. Because that helping of someone else is going to be exponentially more meaningful than anything you can eat, anything you can use, anything you can go and do. Because in that way, you're literally trying to reduce the pain that you might be suffering in that moment, right? And maybe in the same way, being in that space of not knowing what to do next, maybe you end up being the person in that person's life, helping them with whatever it is they need to do next. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that today. Do share with me your mindset about what you do to live a meaningful existence. I would like to hear your friends as fractals as well. This is just me trying to steer it in a direction. I already see beloved friends here. Jovan, Enjoy Vive, and Loazana too. Blessings to all of you. I'm gonna pour myself a glass of waters. We can get into it, shall we? The bugs are gonna be probably a little bit loud. We're sitting right above them. The storm clouds in the background. Maybe it'll start raining during stream. I'm here for it. Compassion. Surely, helping someone else requires some compassion, right? Hey, Google, define compassion. Compassion is sympathetic pity. Already that doesn't sound like a good thing, bro. Sympathetic pity and concern for the suffering or misfortunes of others. You know what? I don't even know if passion is what we need in that case. Maybe we just need uh, enthusiasm, right? Because I don't know if we're going out and helping someone else. When you can help people in multiple different ways, I hope that goes without saying. Like, you can help people in so many ways. And no matter how you choose to help, if you do help, your life will become more meaningful. That I can almost guarantee. If you help people and your life doesn't become more meaningful, uh, hit me up. Let's talk about it, because there seems to be something wrong. Love is true. It's nice having you friends here. Trying to live a meaningful life seems like trying to grab water. Maybe we can't force that shit. I think we can, Sam. I think we can. Today's stream topic is about forcing that shit. And it's not forcing it technically, right? Technically. I mean, technically, it is also forcing. Like, you have to force yourself sometimes to go and help other people, especially if you feel down yourself, right? Because today's stream topic is specifically attached to that, specifically attached to the fact that sometimes we're not happy with life. Sometimes we're not happy with where we are. Sometimes we're not appreciating our current experience. And I believe that that experience of meaninglessness, hopelessness, numb, can be very much countered with kindness towards others, right? Towards helping others. You don't agree, Sam? If not, why not? Let me know. I don't really think life has a meaning. I'm here for now. At some point, I won't be. I'll do stuff in the in between. I celebrate that, Joy. But again, you have helped me, Joy. You have. You have helped me with having something to say to someone in this stream by being a conversational partner. You have helped me financially by being a supporter of my Patreon. You have helped me financially by buying some of my. Have you Redbubble items? Either or. Doesn't really matter. You have helped me by sending me gifts. I have a candle. I started burning it, by the way. I have a candle that you sent me. So you helped me by making my environment smell a little bit better, right? I have a scarf, two scarves by you even. And now they help me make art, right? So sure, maybe life is meaningless, but by you helping me, by you being in my life, you have made my life literally more meaningful, right? So maybe life in and of itself, maybe that is the place we were supposed to get at in today's stream. Maybe life itself is meaningless, and you get to be the thing, the person, the experience that brings meaning into that life, right? And again, I would like to believe that we can bring even more meaning by helping others. I really do believe so, because then it's not just meaning for your own sake, then it's at the very minimum, meaning two ways, right? Because it means something for you to go out of your way to help someone, and it means something to them that you went out of your way to help them, right? And then maybe there's a third person onlooking, and it means something to them to watch you mean something while it means something else to someone else, right? And maybe someone is watching them watch you watching someone with your meanings. Point I'm trying to make is that you have the ability to bring more meaning into this experience. The only thing that can bring meaning to this experience is you. And even more so when we apply that meaning to other people. Hey, Nancy, bless you. It's nice having you here, friend. We can chase after things that we think might give us meaning, but having a life that qualifies as a meaningful one is like having a life that qualifies as honorable. No, I don't think so. I guess it could be seen as honorable if you spent your life helping other people, but I don't think it's unachievable. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? Like yesterday we gained some clarity on the fact that what we want, or at least some of us want a meaningful life. And thinking about that, really considering the importance of that as a stream topic, that's why we're doing today's to like be like very biased, abrasive even about it, and be like, yeah, actually, not only is a meaningful life possible, but you are responsible, and you can make it more meaningful by helping others, right? Like it's the third option. It's not the being present in your own experience. It's not, technically speaking, the working for an employer. It is the in between. You're still technically working. You're still giving effort, giving energy of yourself to another. But in doing so, you are making the world better. And that better experience, I feel, registers as meaning, right? It's like, this is meaningful. At least in my mind, most of the meaningful experiences I've had were experiences that made me feel better or made me become a better person, right? Let me know what you think. How is registering for you? Oh, Giovanna's sending all of us lovin's. It's D&D day, so I gotta run early this morning. I'll catch up with y'all. But until then, have my love. Thank you. Dear Xiao. Enjoy your D&D. Blessings. Mm. Sam says, we decide if we live meaningful, if we live meaningfully, if we are honorable, but it's not a condition we can pursue. You see, like I feel like we're operating in the realm of extremes right now, dear Sam, because I think it is something you can pursue. You can pursue a meaningful life, right? And I feel it is like, and I get what you're saying as well, Sam. I really am. Like the whole analogy of like, oh, you're gonna make fire burn itself now next. Maybe you're gonna make knives cut itself. Maybe you're gonna make the water drown itself next, melt. Pursue meaning in life next. So I get that kind of perspective of like, the pursuit of meaning in life is kind of meaningless. You're like you're missing the point of it. But my lens through which I'm looking today is the fact that you can gain more meaning by helping others, right? I agree with what you mentioned as well, but I'm specifically talking about the ability to gain some meaning. This bug has now officially reached like levels of critical mass in my brain, so please, thank you, big shtick, for helping me silence them bugs. Yeah, that is better. That's much better. Wow. Sam, my initial reaction is that you may be overthinking this, but what do I know? I think we're consciously evolving, Loizana. The fact that you're thinking anything is a good sign. It's a very good sign. Many people don't have to think for themselves right now. What a wonderful topic, Mel. What a wonderful you, Nancy. Thank you for resonating with today's stream topic. It's an important one, right? And I'm like thinking about my journey over the last 3 years as well. And it's you friends who have given my life more meaning, right? And it feels a little bit pretentious to say that I've helped you, right? It's like holier than thou or like putting myself on a pedestal, which is not what I want. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt, you friends have helped me, right? With like this level of consistency that we got in this space. Being able to count on love, right? That is something that has helped me tremendously. So thank you, friends, for making my life more meaningful with your presence. And I hope, I really, I beg of the universe that I can make your experience more meaningful as well. Please please continue, LA. I like hearing your thoughts on things. I mean, I feel like the way I articulated maybe it was the same thing that Louisiana understood, but do let us know like, yes, that's what I meant, or what you actually mean with the whole overthinking it. Like again, a knife cutting itself. You can really think about that, right? It's not gonna make any more sense. But I feel like that is where Sam was going with the whole pursuing meaning in life, right? Like it's like you are the thing that creates the meaning. So it's like chasing yourself, right? It's like the fire trying to burn itself, the water trying to drown itself. So I get what Sam was saying. At least that's what I think Sam was saying. And what I think Sam was saying, I do get. Let me know, Sam, if I'm correct. Let me know, Novazana, what you think. I thought I had lost my honor and that somehow my father would return it to me. But I know now that no one can give you your honor. It's something you earn for yourself by choosing to do what's right. In a similar way, meaning cannot be chased after, but we could decide that we already have it. Yeah, you already do. Not only decide, but you do. You do already have it, right? Meaning doesn't exist out there. Again, right? Like I would recommend if you have the finances to do so, to go and envelop yourself, immerse yourself, melt into different cultures, right? Like there's going to be a lot of growth and a lot of meaning, if you will, in those experiences. But again, there is no meaning without you being the filter through which that meaning flows, right? You are the one that applies the meaning to an event, right? Like the same for like I'm thinking about this experience I had with a complete stranger at a festival where I was irresponsibly lifted at that point in my experience. Like I started with psychedelics and then ego tripping. I guess there was ego tripping involved, but I didn't really call it that at that point in my experience. So I took like 550 mics all at once, which is like 10 times technically. You can technically get like a little bit of an experience with like between 10 and 25 mics, but yeah, like 10 times the amount you really need to have a good time, right? And 11 times. And during that experience, I was very cerebral. Is that the right word? Hey, Google, define cerebral. Mm, bruh, a cerebral person meaning more information. If you describe someone or something as cerebral, you mean that they are intellectual rather than emotional. Yeah, you know what? I feel like it still checks out. It did feel like I was very much in my mind, and like I could access parts of myself. Like there was this moment where I just randomly started singing a song, and I knew every single one of the words, even though I had never even once practiced that song or felt like it had any significance in my life. Like it's not something that I listened to many times or something that I knew the words of intrinsically or consciously. And then in that moment, I could just start singing, and I knew all of the words from my heart. And I was like very taken aback by that experience, like having so much access to myself, if you will. And then I was like, this is a little bit too much. And I started moving around, and I, you know, was like walking basically down like the line, right? There was like a line with like a bunch of little stalls by the sides of them that was like back and forth to the camping area. So you would pass by people, and I'm like a little bit out of it with the amount of information that I'm absorbing at that point. And I meet this dude who was just dressed absolutely spectacularly. And I'm loud. Your friends might have noticed. So I loudly, like proclaiming how much I like the way this guy is dressed, like how much I like his outfit. And like it's so loud and so proclamation that there's like suddenly a group that just forms around me and this dude. And we're just like riffing back and forth, giving each other compliments on each other's outfits. And like the other dudes that are like walking around us, like they're laughing. Like I think they were probably laughing like they were making fun of me, but I was absorbing it like they're laughing because of how cute it is. And they were like, oh, and I go through this experience of this deep sense of almost like getting completely lost in the ability to just, I don't know, help someone by acknowledging their existence, right? Like you can literally help people make their experience more meaningful by just acknowledging their existence, how they choose to accessorize and decorate themselves. And like that moment was and continues to be so stuck in my mind with like the amount of power, right? I was not in any state to actually help that person, right? If he was like, if he had suddenly I mean, I probably would have been able to help him. I would have snapped out of it. But if he had like a big gash on his leg or something, like an open wound and needed to be rushed to the hospital, I don't know if I'd be in the right state of mind to help him in that moment. But I helped that dude, and he helped me as well with that kindness that was reciprocated back and forth. I'm gonna go and hit snooze on that button again. Hey, Bugs! Hey, Bugs! Shut up! Yeah, shut up, you Bugs! I think there's more of them. There's one here as well. Ye there were. Big stick. Of course, Pepe is like, come on, bro, let's play. Let's play. I just want to play. I just want to play. No play for you. No play for you. I'm gonna come and get you. I'm gonna come and get you. I'm gonna get you. Suddenly, no more play left in her. Okay. Yeah. You can help people by just acknowledging them. So thank you for helping me right now. Of your acknowledging of my existence. I appreciate that. Mm, didn't you turn up the volume? They really did. Helping others can be meaningful, but it's not the only way. Agreed. Agreed, Nancy. I really don't believe it's the only way. I believe it's a way, right? It's an actionable way. Because sometimes, if I tell you, you can gain more meaning, from your life by starting your own business and creating content for yourself, sharing, illuminating the things that you love. And you can have more meaning by, like making friendships, having lifelong friendships makes your life feel more meaningful, right? Yes, true, but that doesn't really help, right? If I'm in my 40s and maybe my friends have died, never mind, I never even made any, right? Now I need to go make new friends, potentially, which is hard in and of itself, right? And now I'm like coming to Melt more and be like, hey, Melt, I'm having a hard time. I feel like life is meaningless. And I go, yeah, oh, try and have lifelong friendships. I don't think that's going to be, appreciated. However, I do believe today's stream topic might be helping people. That's something easy enough for all of us to do. And your life will be more meaningful if we can do more of that. I do believe, at least. I thought I had lost my honor. I think I've read it one. Earn yourself, but she was right in a similar way. Just, yeah. Sam, just a couple of things leap to my mind right away. Seeing you share your art has been meaningful for me. Not just the art itself, but the courage to share it. And those silk sirens you turned me on to. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, again, even though it is possible, and I feel like that's what Hosanna is saying in this moment. That's the way I'm absorbing it. Even though you are the one that applies meaning to the experiences you have, right? Like again, it's futile to seek meaning outside of yourself. When you have friends, right? When you have people that you can help in your life, you can help their lives feel more meaningful in the same way that Loizana just mentioned, like seeing Sam's art, right? Sure, it's Loizana generating that meaning, but Sam being willing to share it, not only the art itself, but like as Loizana said, the courage to share her art, that is meaningful to Loizana's experience. And even though it's her creating it, there is no that amount of meaningfulness without Sam showing up in her life as well, right? Like that's in my mind at least where like new meaning arises by going out and touching the lives of others. They have changed my life, and I also love the way I feel about my body. Bless. That's such a beautiful sentence to read, actually. Lois, I'm so happy you took that plunge, and even happier that you found something that works for you. Ride that wind, buddy. Love is true. Why? What silk saris do you speak of? There's a Cyrus emoji. There is. You're right. I think it's a piece of clothing. I'll drop a link in Discord. Joy. They're magic. I never felt so ladylike as when I wear these skirts. Sam, I don't know why, but instantly my mind is like, I also want to feel what it's like to be ladylike. Am I gonna feel ladylike if I wear those skirts too? Is that how it works? Hey Mojo! Thank you for joining us, dear friend. Like, we're a while in, but since you're here, I want to let you know that you are today's stream topic inspiration. If you want to, go back and check out the start of today's stream. Like, it's the first few minutes, you'll hear me introducing and like riffing a little bit on what we talked about yesterday and how you inspired today's stream topic. So, on that fractal of wanting to experience more meaning from life, I believe the best way is to help others. If you feel lost, if you feel like within the current 9 to 5 experience, right, even longer than that, if you feel like there's no meaning in that experience, I think there's a bug on Pippi, a fly that's walking. Sorry about that. If you have a hard time finding meaning within your 9 to 5 experience, and then maybe the experience of going back home and just distracting yourself, then help another, right? And again, help looks in multiple different ways, down to just acknowledging the existence of another, down to sharing your fractal with another person. So thank you, Mojo. You have helped me, dear friend. I hope you know that. And that's what I'm trying to say to you right now, right? You have made my experience more meaningful by being a part of it. And I want to give that back to you in this moment. You freaking bugs! You shut up! Bug 1 silenced. Bug 2, where you be? That one was like confused about it for a second. It was like, am I supposed to shut up now? My weapon of choice back in place. Your everyday pants are pretty shirt like melt. I know, Joy. I'm not joking about the dress. I have, like, unironically multiple times, like when my mom or my sister wears like a really nice looking dress, I go, I think I'd look good in it as well. And the horror in their faces makes me laugh as well. I'll wear dresses. Part of me wants to wear a kilt. You know, apparently you can use it as a blanket at night, right? I'll wear kilts. I mean, you know, as long as, again, for me, the only, so I cover myself, right? If I'm covered, I can be covered in plastic bags for all I care. If I'm covered, I'm covered. So if I'm gonna cover myself, I might as well be ridiculous with it, dresses included. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Hey, hey, bro, I'm gonna have to come and see you again. Arr. Not close enough. You can definitely pinpoint them. Just want to make sure not to throw at my stuff. This stick will destroy things. Bullseye. Christos! Hey, dude! It's nice having you. We have Brother Joshmo joining us too. I'm throwing sticks at insects already. Oh, okay. Joy, they are wrap skirts. Each one is repurposed from 2 contrasting silk saras. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Bear with me. You can wear them a dozen ways and they're reversible. And you buy them in bulk, like 5 or 10 or whatever. And you don't. And you don't choose them. They just surprise you. That's why they're so inexpensive. I just hear wins. You buy multiple of the same thing. They're reversible, so you get multiple looks. They make you feel beautiful. You get to kind of like the childlike joyish opening your package to see which ones you got. Just wins all the way down. Feeling like I need more time to rest. Enjoy, everyone. Love to you, Nancy. Have a good rest, dear friend. Love again, Christos. You don't usually get to pick unless you buy them as singles from the expensive hippie shops. Yeah. Helping others, can disagree. That is a way to find meaning. Absolutely, Mojo. That's the way I found meaning, right? I feel like I definitely was going through a little bit of a meaning crisis at the end of the year 2020. And Arpan, which is by extension you friends, literally gave me more meaning than any other thing that I could experience, right? I do feel like I enjoy the internet a lot, right? I do. I really do. And I spend a lot of time, even though it is technically metaphysical in nature, with other people, right? When you like watch a YouTuber, there's like a certain level of social interaction happening there. It's like one way technically, but still I believe it's like social in nature. And then Arpan live streaming in general, it shows me how I can help, right? How I have been helped throughout my entire life by my different content creators, right, that I follow. Weirdly enough, when I was a 14-year-old, I don't think it's that weird. Expectedly, when I was a 14-year-old, I really loved PewDiePie. And he was also a daily uploader, right? So I could always count on PewDiePie to have a video up when I showed up for it as well. It's not that way anymore, unfortunately, but you know, he has a kid right now. And like seeing how that dude grows, how he has grown, how I grew technically alongside him, the fact that I have become an adult watching that person, he has helped me. He has added more meaning to my life. And the fact that he now has a child, you know, and like the content that's coming off of that and seeing him grow as a person, he doesn't know who I am. And he doesn't need to. He never has to. And yet my life is more meaningful due to him sharing his life with me, knowing I exist or not. And I don't know if I do the same thing for you, friends, but that is the way I feel about it. Like this, the internet is for me something so much more. Like it's a way to connect to family that don't even know you're their family. It's a whole trip. I appreciate you, friends, so much. A Sunday serenade. Love is true. Joe Schmo. It's nice having you. Men all over the world wear dresses. They just don't call them dresses. A dress is a long skirt. That is a long shirt. That is actually true. Yeah. Uh, I'm thinking about like the Arabian, you know, dressing styles as well. Technically, those are dresses. You know, if you want to get real technical about it. I ordered 5, and each one is exquisite. Throwing sticks at insects and discussing dress options. Got it. I'm glad I'm all caught up. Technically, today's stream topic is about meaning, Joe Schmo. About meaning. And how I believe, at least in my experience, for me, the best way for me to gain more meaning from this experience is by helping other people, right? By offering hope, by offering a space to be calm in, by being myself authentically, by celebrating those I love, by echoing their words the way I try to with you, friends, like giving us a voice, right? We can help each other in so many different ways, and I believe it's a very good way to gain more meaning. Thank you, Joe Schmo, for adding meaning to our lives right now. I very much think of them as melt skirts. Yeah, 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 yeah. The melt mythology is sinking deeper and deeper into our neurons. Good. Sorry equals sorry. Like sorry? They're called saris? Let me scroll back up. Silk saris. Wouldn't have guessed. Makes sense though. Yeah, most Indian outside of India and South Africa, and you don't recognize sorry seems impossible to me. Uh, I think we call them a Sharon or something like that. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe sorry is like the abbreviation for Sharons. At least that's what I thought I was. Maybe like that's the word I'm supposed to know. Maybe that's the word you friends are using. Maybe you just have a modified one for it. Melty, I agree with that train of thought. When we put ourselves in a position of service for those who genuinely need assistance, we start to appreciate how luxurious some aspects of our lives are. Like Joshmo, of course, is opening a whole other fractal with today's stream topic in mind. I wasn't even talking about that, Joshmo, but what a beautiful point that is. So I've introduced like 3 different perspectives. One is you're the one creating meaning. You know, how much meaning you apply to whatever it is you're doing. 2, the other person gains meaning with how much ever meaning they apply to what it is you're doing. And 3, there is an outer perspective that applies meaning to what it is you consider meaningful, right? Like, oh, these 2 people are having a meaningful moment. From the outside, I can apply how meaningful that is, right? If I see a pair of lovers embrace one another, right? And I'm a homophobe or whatever, I can be like, oh, this means nothing. This means the world is falling apart. Or I can go, this means love is true, right? So there's that layer of meaning we apply to this experience. And now Joe Schmo has introduced another layer of meaning that you gain by helping another person by reflecting, right? Where, for instance, maybe someone is suffering with abuse in their home, right? And you helping them instantly illuminates in your mind how appalling you consider abuse to be, how grateful you are for having healthy relationships, for how blessed you have been for maybe having been or having escaped or never having been or never having have had to escape an abusive experience in your past, for example, right? So you gain layers of meaning that may have been inaccessible to you if you didn't have that level of contrast that the person you're helping might be able to offer you, right? And it's not like they're offering that to you like an exchange. That's just kind of what happens when you choose to show up and help another person. You helped your turtle friends and gave them a home. That he did. Uh, Luxurious some aspects of our lives can be. When we see that our minor efforts can make a big difference, we start to appreciate the little things that we already have. It puts perspective on our own lives. Gratitude comes naturally. Yeah, right? Like I'm thinking about and even though I know it's now a little bit wrapped in controversy, I'm thinking about like The Blind Side, where there was that scene where they show him his room and the bed, and he goes, I've never had one. And like she kinda, you know, I don't know if coyly, ignorantly, innocently even, goes, oh, your own room? Like, oh yeah, maybe you don't have your own room because you have siblings that have to stay in the room with you. And he goes, no, my own bed. And just in that moment, I realized, shit, bro, I've had my own bed since I was a little kid, right? Right? And I never really, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, considered that there are people that need that kind of help in the world and they don't have a bed for themselves. And then again, right, it's also a pretty new development for people to have beds for themselves. Back in like the 1600s, people used to share a single bed, 7 people sleeping on the one bed that there were. So, yeah, thank you, quality of life, for helping me, I guess. Love is true. Sharon's. Oh, that's very pretty thing to call a sari. I'm not sure if it is. Like that's the closest word I know that I also know is like a draping. I don't know if that's what you call it. Gratitude will lead to understanding, will lead to harmony. Absolutely. All messages switch over. Thank you for the reminder. Don't get me started on those damn white savior narratives. Fuck the blind side. Yeah. Again, that's why I said it is steeped in controversy, but I wasn't talking about the blind side or the whole situation. I was just talking about that scene, right? To try and riff on what our beloved brother Joe Schmo said. Like when you help someone and you learn about their perspective, it makes you aware of the little things that you take for granted, like your bed, right? Like to someone who has never had their own bed, having their own bed is a game changer. But to you who have had your own bed your whole life, it might be meaningless, right? It isn't meaningless. You're just the one who doesn't apply any meaning to it because it's not meaningful to you. And I don't like uh, phrases like white savior narratives either, right? Like I feel like it's again not the point. There was like a lot of exploitation there, whether or not it was white or black people. The whole, what do they call them? Uh, Like the whole thing that Lindsay Lohan was like contract under as well. Like I know the story. I know the story, Joy Beef. Don't get me wrong. I just seen the same stuff happen here in Africa, and then it's fucking bullshit. Let me just say it like straight up, the way that it's feeling in my life right now. Because again, Joy Beef, and this is the joke, and I feel it's so perfect that this comes up because it's a very sensitive topic, and I probably shouldn't talk about it, right? I should probably just ignore it and move on. But we are talking about helping people today, right? And how you can make your life more meaningful by helping other people. Some people might actually go and help other people because they only seek. There we go, live again. We can see the world and the people in it, maybe a white person choosing to help people who aren't white, and then say something like, oh yeah, it's just being a, what's the word you used? A white savior, right? That just feels so fucking toxic. Like if someone is helping, I'm thinking about like, and I'm not a fan. I want to make that very clear, even though I don't want to throw shade, right? I'm not a fan of Mr. Beast. Like it just feels, it makes me feel like there's something crawling at the back of my skull when I watch his content, right? So I choose not to. That being said, the amount of flack he got for like, going and I want to say installing, even though I don't know if that's the right word, drilling boreholes and drilling wells in Africa. Like he drilled 100 wells in Africa, for people who didn't have water. And then that word was used so many times, Joy Vive. Oh yeah, this is now a classic case of white saviorism or, stuff like that. And I'm like, bruh, I get it. I get what you're trying to get at, but people not having water, that's a big yikes because that's what they were saying as well, Joy Vive. I don't know if you saw that whole thing. They were like, oh yeah, this white guy just coming into our country and giving people, access to clean water is like shining a light on the incompetency of like the government and the people that are supposed to be in charge, the people that are collecting tax dollars, right? I'm instantly riled up. I'm instantly riled up. All I know is, maybe this is what I'm trying to say, that the people that got helped aren't saying those things. At least I would like to believe, right? The actual people that got help, the people who have access to clean drinking water right now, they're not saying, fuck that white savior, right? They're being like, water. This is good. My life can now be a little bit more meaningful because I don't have to be thirsty and continue searching for it. Okay. Fractaled. I'm gonna put it beside me and continue forward. Joy Vive the tortoises seem happy. Hey Zano, seeing you. No babies yet, but they seem to be practicing a lot. Indeed, Meltmore. Discernment, pulling the meaning even out of propaganda movies. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like you're the one that applies the meaning, right? Something can be completely meaningless. You can look at, flies literally walking on a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I had to like go as extreme as possible. And you can still apply meaning. You can. You can, create a narrative in your own mind about the importance of flies and about how they're basically playing a role, for helping things, decompose. And without flies and without bacteria, there might just be a bunch of corpses around us at all times, right? So there's meaning in even something as low as that. How would one encourage a tortoise to do it? Do they play music to help them along? I mean, I don't think you encourage them. I feel like biology probably does the job for you, right? Have you ever had to encourage teenagers to be horny? No. Like it works for themselves. Buddhists believe that our fundamental nature is wise, loving, and compassionate. So by following a path that helps you connect to your true nature, you will naturally be drawn to helping others. I believe this too, Mojo, especially that fundamental nature side. I believe being wise, being loving, and being compassionate technically are all, extensions of that, loving energy ultimately. And that loving energy is like the base of reality, the fundamental force of reality. And in the same way, that, as you mentioned, following a path that connects you to your true nature. I like that analogy, but the way I see it is that there is this force, right, pushing reality forward, surely, right? There's this force that is keeping everything in check. I believe that force is love. And by tuning into that force, you basically equip yourself with a superpower, right? Like, never mind even a path, but like a fuel source, an inexhaustible fuel source. Like the only thing that is infinite, that is that love. Like the fact that you can eat food and drink water and create loving experiences, right? Create that meaning in your experience, if you will. Sam, I throw others. I probably butchered the summary of Buddhist philosophy, but it resonates with me. No, Mojo. Like the fact that you internalize, and can share that internalized, understanding, that is what's meaningful again. I throw on a tiny berry white for them on Tuesdays. Tuesday is date night. There's a whole genre of stories, movie, etc., where white people helping colored persons, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying whether I like it or not, right? That's not for me to decide. I don't watch content like that. I'm trying to imagine if there's any other content that I saw. I think like The Blind Side is probably like a good example of a movie that I saw that was like that. But I can't think of any others. Not like in mainstream media, like this is something that was talked about. I don't know if you can, JV. Maybe you can like give me a few names. The point I'm trying to make is using words like that, right? Is it a bad thing? Is it a bad thing for color A to help color B, right? If there's now a movie, is there? So again, JV, like this is my perspective. If a bunch of movies come out now, right? Like let's say over the next 50 years, there's 50 movies of black people helping white people. Are we going to start calling those movies and scoffing at them and going, oh, this black saviorism needs to stop? Right? That's not the world I want to live in. I don't want to live in that world, right? How about, oh, people helping people, right? Their fucking skin color has nothing to do with it, right? Whether I'm white or dark skinned, right? And I'm technically not even white. This is not even remotely white. Again, right? Like we do that fractal, like that's white. I'm not fucking white. Like if we can get past the skin problem and be like, oh yeah, people helping people. People are helping other people have access to clean drinking water. Right? That's good. That's good. Their skin color has nothing to do with it, right? Let's actually honor the fact that helping is the thing that we're supposed to be doing. I think that's the part that gets me. It's not like no Joy Vive, don't say stuff like that. For me, it's the fact that that is something that people say, right? It hurts me. I probably know, not again. They like 90s R&B. White Savior is just another facet of the dialect chaos to divide and conquer. Yeah, no doubt. Even if there are subtle racist movies or shows that exist, I completely agree. It's just another form of separation, right? Of like, oh, you know, you have been historically uh, taken advantage of, marginalized. There's another word that I'm looking for. Let's say exploited. I think exploited is a good one as well by white people. And technically, if you want to get real technical about it, and this is not what the stream is about, the slaves that got taken from Africa were sold. Right? They weren't like a bunch of people with like burlap sacks running onto the beaches and capturing people in bags and dragging them away. That's not what happened, unfortunately. People sold their own people for salt, for gold, right? And that goes always. No matter what skin color you have been as a human being, I can promise you that skin color has done some whack shit. All of them. All of them. So let's get past the whole skin color thing and just be like, yeah, human beings can be pretty fucked sometimes, especially if they have misaligned value systems. What is it that you value as a human being? Is it money? Or is it meaning? Right? You can make more meaning by helping other people. But if your value system is money, that doesn't stop, right? You can reach a point where you've helped every person, right? We as a species can reach a point where we've helped every single person. We'll never reach a point where we have all the money, right? Again, that's like the real thing that I'm trying to get at today. I don't know about the Mr. Beast fractal, and just because that happened, don't negate what I said. I'm not trying to negate what you said. I'm making a point, Joy. I'm making a point. Catchphrase terms that get thrown around and not always used. Maybe the most appropriate with the situation. Yeah, good taste. Hey, that bug starts again. Bruh. Bruh. Come on, bruh. Yeah. There we go. Okay, Joy. I'm I'm here to help you if that is what you want. What would you like to say? Like I don't know that you were trying to say anything with all of the previous messages. Like let's go back and read them. Uh, we were talking about dresses, yeah. Then about the saris. Then what the sari was called, yeah. And then don't get me started. You said don't get me started on them damn white savior narratives, right? And then I tried to move on. The second thing you said, there's a whole genre of movies, whether I like it or not. Okay. You don't know the Mr. Beast fractal. And then me, it's deeply shit for you to bring it up. Okay, Choivi, floor is yours. I'll go and silence the bugs. Let me know what you want to say, dear friend. It's all you. I completely agree with your grandma's wisdom, Joshua. Be kind, be courteous, and calm. And this world will remind you. If you don't see skin color, then you don't see the oppression of someone that lives as a POC, person of color. Okay, Javiv's right. Predator franchise somewhat successful because the strong preying on the weak appeals to more disgusting elements of society. Mm, don't tell me what to say. I have to say it. I wasn't trying to tell you what to say. I was making my point clear about how I don't want to live in a world where we use words like white savior. And then I made my point clear that in the same way, if they make a bunch of movies about a black person helping a white family, I don't want it to be called black saviorism, right? Because it's people helping people. It's not me trying to deny the experience or the depth or the trauma you go through as a person of color. It's me trying to move past this need to label things in that way. right? To see something, to see a person going out of their way to help whoever happens to be a person who is a person of color, and then to call them a white savior because they're helping black people, right? That is guaranteed, 100% guaranteed, going to ensure that less people help less people. Never mind skin color. Less people will help less people, right? And by using words like that, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to hear it from me or not, is making things worse, not better. You're not helping, right? Today's stream topic, you're not helping the world by using terminology like that. I really don't think you are, unfortunately. And that is what I'm standing by with today's stream topic of like, it's not helping me. It makes me feel, right? Like, this is the point, Joy Vive. I want to help my fellow Africans, right? One of my dreams is to have enough finances to buy solar panels, have enough finances to buy batteries, and then have enough finances to buy Starlink satellites with the subscriptions that go alongside them, and then to drive those things into Africa and go and connect rural villages, make these little libraries for children to get access to the internet. That is something I want to do with like a deep passion in my heart. The amount of money it will take me is absurd, but that is something that I want to do one day, no matter how long it takes me. And now hearing people say stuff like that, it makes me not want to help, right? If my helping other people is going to get me labeled as a white savior, that makes me feel like a fucking asshole. And I haven't even gone to try and help people, right? And that is the projection. That is the narrative you're putting out into the world by using words like that, right? It's racism. It is racism, whether you want to believe it or not, right? Like that is what racism is. You're stereotyping based on a skin color. And then I'm the asshole. I'm deeply shit for not wanting to do that. That's not fair, Joy Vive. That's really not fair. Yeah. Yeah, Sam, I live in Africa. Like, I want to make this very clear as well, right? Like, white people make up, I think, 7% of the South African continent, right? So I live in the world where that's not the case, right? I know in America, white people make up the majority of your population. But where I'm from, that's not how it is, right? Not how it is. The black people are the ones in power here, if that's the way we're going to talk about it. Systematically enforced power dynamics, all of them, right? Like there's even rules. There's even rules. There's something called Black economic empowerment. Go look it up, right? See if you agree with that. See if you believe that is not racist. Let me actually read it to you if you don't want to look it up. Hey, Google, tell me about South Africans' BEE. Let's see if I get a succinct answer. Yeah, Black economic empowerment. Broad-based Black economic empowerment is a governmental policy to advance economic transformation and enhance the economic participation of Black people, colored and Indian people who are South African citizens. All right? And what does that look like? You might wonder. So let's see if I can click on this little wiki link, if that's going to be the easiest way to do it. Yeah, let me just read you the whole little article, right? Because like I feel the amount of unawareness of like how much more vast the world is sometimes a little bit difficult to really communicate. Black BEE, let's just call it that, is a policy of South African government which aims to facilitate broader participation. We've read that part. A form of affirmative action is intended especially to address the inequalities created by apartheid. The policies provides incentives, especially preferential treatment in government procurement processes. So when I really got to know what this is, this BEE thing, was when I was working in audiovisual. And we would do a lot of installations for governmental buildings, right? Like we would do video conferencing equipment and stuff like that that we had to install for these places. And the company I was working for, called Represent, I don't know if it's still a company necessarily, uh, was the company we were working under. And because of these BEE laws, literally you have like different levels. I wonder if they'll talk about that. Yeah, yeah. So here's the levels. So it goes from lowest level all the way to the highest level, with like 100 points being the maximum you can get. So it's ownership, management control, skills development, preferential procurement, enterprise and supplier development, economic, socioeconomic development. So because of this, the the employer I was working for literally had to give away half of his company. Half of his company had to be owned by a person of color for him to get work. Not for him to have the business, not for him to make money, not for him to be able to, operate at all. Just simply for him to be able to show up to the places where the work was. 50% of his company had to be owned, right? So again, and it's straight up racist policies. That's like really active in South Africa right now. And the Chinese economy, wanting to work in our country, wants them to literally abolish those rules because it's impossible for any other country to operate. Like the reason we don't have Starlink right now is because these BE laws, 30% of the entire revenue that Starlink might generate for their company needs to go directly to people of color in our country. And I get, right, reparations, and I get trying to reduce the amount of equality in the world. But that's not the way you do it, right? Like the amount of talent we've lost from our country, the amount of business people that just do not start businesses in South Africa has hurt our country exponentially, right? What people would consider, what you would call white saviors, have left our country because they cannot help people here. They cannot help people here. If you want to help people, you have to give away 50% of your business, right? And you might not be able to be profitable, especially in a freaking economy, like a capitalist economy. How do you profit when you literally lose 50% of your business just to be able to have the business, right? Just to be able to operate that business. How are you supposed to make money? And then those people leave by the droves, by the millions, right? We've lost so many talented people because of these narratives of like, yeah, white people are fucking trash. That's all they're good for. Like it doesn't make the world a better place, It doesn't help. That's the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't help. You're not helping anybody by perpetuating those kind of ways of thinking or those narratives. Recognize oppression and racism just by looking at someone. It creates a narrative. Maybe if we look at people like a success story rather than a victim. Yeah, right? How can I help this person instead of, oh, this poor person, little fucking, victim ass asshole. When you take away people's humanity, it's the hardest struggle to become a human again in a system that's stacked against you. Like, the amount of perspective I feel that's lacking again, right? I can promise you that the average black person living in America has an exponentially better life than the average black person living in Africa. I promise you that. Without a shadow of a doubt, right? Am I saying that, oh, because of that, black people's lives are so easy in America? No, it's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is that Africa isn't that great to be in and to live in, right? Like, I can promise you, if you gave every single African in Africa a ticket, free of charge to America, and there would be a place for them to live and jobs for them to go and work, I would say 90 maybe lower, maybe 70% of all Africans will instantly get on a plane and fly to America, despite the police brutality, despite the inequality, despite the I don't know, like KKK people or whatever. All of them, me included, will instantly hop on a plane to go to America because Africa is, believe you me, not that developed, not that there. It might leapfrog, fortunately, over the next 40 years. But again, right? Are we gonna then call like the Chinese people, oh, yellow saviors? Are we going to racist like that as well? Like it's disgusting to me, and it makes me angry. I'll be completely honest. It makes me angry. You're like, oh, we know, Mel. We can see. We can see. No, 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 no. Everyone has ugly history. Yeah, maybe we can look at a beautiful future, shared vision. Thank you. Thank you, Joe Schmo. That's all I'm asking for, without the need to bring up the past. Looking forward while remembering the disconnection that existed in the past. Yeah. And I feel like, again, right? Like to add an extra layer of nuance to what Joe Schmo just said, because I do agree with him within reason, right? Like we're not forgetting the past from a perspective of being like, oh, the past doesn't matter. But I'm a 20-something-year-old, right? I literally did not exist. I was not on planet Earth while apartheid was going on in my country. I didn't exist. After the country got, like freed from apartheid, 4 years later, I only got born. And since then, our country has gotten exponentially worse, right? Like exponentially worse. Like literally, our economy is 20, I think maybe more, 20 times weaker now than it was 27 years ago, which is absurd in of itself. Like again, like with the ability to help people, right? If the average person now suddenly has 20 times less money, how much less likely will they be to try and help another person, right? And then that being said, right, like this amount of like using words like white saviorism, or like in the past, there has been these movies of white people helping black people. So it is a thing. Are any of the friends in this space responsible? Were we the ones who made those movies? Were we the ones that projected those ideas into the consciousness of our species, right? Like if the person you are attacking, right, doesn't have direct involvement with the thing that you are angry about, then reconsider. Consider the future. Looking forward while remembering the disconnection that existed in the past. Sorry, I'm the victim. All I know, the history. Let's try to make a new story for the future. I mean, agreed. Black saviorism, like reverse racism, isn't a thing that exists. That's the point I'm trying to make, Joy Vive. Like, again, right? Racism is racism. But helping people is helping people in the same way, right? Like when you use the word like white saviorism as an insult, it's like dissociative in my mind. It's like it doesn't make sense what you're trying to achieve. What are you actually trying to achieve? Are you angry with the fact that a black person benefited from the help of a white person? Are you angry at the white person for daring to help a black person? What is it we're angry about? Really? Like, I do not understand it. It doesn't fucking make sense to me. And it makes me angry. Like, it feels like blatant racist stupidity, right? Like, I consider racism an act of stupidity. I really do. Right? Because, like, if you're a racist, that means that you haven't actually, taken the due consideration, right? You haven't exposed yourself to enough people to realize it's not one race that is stupid, it's people that can be stupid, right? And especially so if they're uneducated, and especially so if that uneducated, behavior continues, right? Like the only way for us to help this planet is through education. It's not through demonizing different skin colors, right? And if we're educating our people by demonizing different skin colors, guess what we're gonna get? More bullshit, not less. We're not helping by creating narratives like that. Can be disingenuous. I agree, Mel. Love to you again. Thank you, Christos. Racism is racism. Reverse racism is just cold unity. I like that. You're not helping the world by bringing up that bullshit movie. I wasn't bringing up the movie. Yeah, see, Joy Vive. And I even made it so clear that I understand that movie was covered in controversy. I made it clear that I understand I'm not supporting the movie. I made it so clear. And then I mentioned that scene, right? Maybe it never even happened. It doesn't matter. I was riffing on what Joe Schmo said about appreciating the small things. When we end up helping another person, seeing the things that they're grateful for reminds us how grateful we get to be for the things that we take for granted. That was the lesson. And now you're like, oh yeah, you're bringing that bullshit movie into it. No, I didn't. You did. You're doing that, Joy Vive. You're the one doing that right now. Bullshit movie. It was a fairy tale to make white people feel good about themselves. What my critique is of it, the wrong genre of that type of story. Has a name. You don't like the name. That's not my problem. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy we can confirm that. Even if saying white savior doesn't help, if you lose the one to actually help, then you don't actually want to help. It's not that. It's being demonized for trying to, right? Like if the goal is to try and help people, if my goal is to try and help people, again, Sano, me being demonized doesn't help me help people, right? So what is my objective? My objective is to help people. So if I do something that makes it harder for me to help people, then I've done the opposite of what I'm trying to do, isn't it? And the point I'm trying to make is that we're supposed to make it easier for one another to help, not harder. And by using certain belief systems, using certain words, we make it harder, not easier. We end up breaking the things down that we're trying to build up. Just help each other and try to be gentle with everyone's trauma. It doesn't need to be politicized or picked apart. Just go and be helpful. It's simple. Agreed. Sorry, I'm getting kind of hot on the color. Mel, I think you should take a course in anti-black racism training. I took it through the city and it was very helpful for my job in helping people. Anti-black racism training. I don't know what that means. Like specifically racism towards anti-blacks, or like I'm confused. And reading it in that way is like I'm supposed to get better at it, right? Like I don't think we have stuff like that in South Africa either way as well. You're part of the oppressor race, living in unstolen land, and you're sitting here telling me what a hardship it is to have a part of colored ownership if you're only 7%, could even be a hardship to have colored partnerships in your business. It's one thing to have a colored partner and to want to start a business with them, Joy Vive. It's a whole other thing to have a business and have to give it away because that's the law, right? Like, again, I don't think you friends understand really what I'm trying to say, right? Like, it's a governmental thing. It's like an overreach thing. It's like a 1984 Orwellian kind of thing, right? Like, oh, you want to eat food? You want to feed your family? Guess you're going to have to give away your company, half your company, to a complete stranger because we say so. And you're like, yeah, that's good. That's fine. I don't see how that's a problem. You don't see how that's a problem? Okay. All right. I'm a part of the oppressor race. Hoorah. I picked, apparently. I picked to be a white person and to live on stolen land, in your words. And what's the other thing you said? Uh, yeah, oppressor race and stolen land. All right. Love is true. I will continue helping people. I'll continue showing up no matter what. That's my clicks. There we go. calm and peace come over me. Okay. Mojo, I understand, and I get that. I get what's being said, but I'm also saying that that is not true, right? Like to say something like those people have been the oppressors for centuries, right? Since I am white skinned, it's not white. I would call it light brown with darker brown speckles, right? I have, what do you call it? Uh, Freckles? Yeah, I have freckles. So there's a percentage of me that's even darker skinned, right? You can see them. There's a bunch of them. So because I'm white skinned, that means I am now a part of the group that has been the oppressors for centuries, right? So by that definition and by my current experience, I am absolutely more privileged. I'm trying to make sure the words are right. Yeah, I am absolutely more privileged than other people might be. And I believe enlightenment is remembering that you are of the same source of light, right? I don't think of it as like a holier than thou kind of thing. But as this privileged individual, if I now go out of my way to help people who are underprivileged, the word you used was ignorant, right? And there's a bunch of ignorant people. Ignorant means that you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? Which is not necessarily a sin or an insult. It might just be a reality, right? And the people that are uneducated or do not have access to the internet or do not have access to, devices to access the internet with might end up being more ignorant than someone else, right? Who might have been more privileged over the last 10 years, who have had access to the internet and devices. And now if they use that privilege to help a person who is underprivileged, that is a bad thing? I do not understand. I get, right? Like they are nobly stepping in to assist the poor, ignorant person. Yet it's these enlightened people who have been the oppressors. It feels like you friends are like reverse understanding what it is you're saying. Or at least that's the way I'm interpreting it. If there are people who have been the oppressors, who then use their privilege to help these who have been unprivileged, isn't that what we want? Isn't that the only thing they can do? What else can they do? What else can they do but try and help those who are less privileged than them? By the very definition, that is the only thing left to do. Why is that a bad thing, right? Why does my skin color have to put me in a camp with people who exploited others? Why do I have to be hated? Why do I have to be seen through that same lens, right? Like we're talking about how we're unaware of history, but we're repeating history in the exact same way, right? Like it's happening in the exact same way. It's just happening in a different way, like the reasoning. Oh yeah, because suffering, now we're gonna make more suffering. That it doesn't make less suffering, right? Freaking good old Jesus. An eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind. Macroeconomics and history in a concert, and sociology 101 with a dash of theology and a global map of natural resource location will give you a good grip on what is happening in this world. Level of awareness. Money is all they care about. Black, white, yellow, red. We're all in a subservient position. We're being fed lies and poison. Yeah. Thank you, Joe Schmo. It's so clear to me, and I know it's clear to you as well. And I feel like that's why it gets me so riled up when these topics come into stream, is because that's so far away from the point, right? And it's not me trying to silence anybody, like trying to deeply shit. It's me trying to realize that that doesn't bring more growth. It doesn't make anybody's life better. It doesn't make anybody in this space feel better. It doesn't help. It just makes things worse. And then if I want to move past that experience that makes things worse, because it's not the truth, right? We're all the same fucking soul, God, in essence, that is facilitated through this flesh, right? This flesh will melt away over and over and over and over again, more and more and more, and there you will be, unchanged. The true you that you've always been, the true us that we all are, right? And then we're like, my whole point, the whole Meltmore name is an attempt to melt away this ego self. And then we're like, yeah, ego selfing even harder. Yeah, skin color. Yeah, it makes a big difference. It's not what's important. Like, it's not a whites versus black problem that we're facing in the world. It's not even remotely. It hasn't been for so long. And as long as we keep believing that that's the problem, something that isn't the problem, right? As soon as you try to solve a problem that's not the problem that actually is going to continue festering. And I can feel that. I can feel like it, like a fucking, like sludge, like brain sludge, you know, that's like gripping me right now. Wake up, my friends. These divisions are the fuel that the power of the machine. So right. Helping people for positive attention. Help people even if they hurt your expectation. Keep helping. That's what I do every day, Zano. And believe me, people have hurt my expectations plenty. And I keep helping anyway. I'm not gonna give up. But again, right, like it's a matter of wanting to be with people, right? If the people that you're helping hate you for it, that's not meaningful, right? You are taking something that can be the most meaningful experience ever, and you are ruining it. For what? For your own anger? For your own need? For what? For what? What are we trying to get from this experience? Pippi is chasing a big ant. That's a big one, huh? It was a big one. Wow, so big. Yeah, it's big. It's so big, that ant. Yeah, it's so big. Such a big one. I see it. Yeah, I see it. I see it. I saw it. It's so cute. All right. No. Be gentle. Love is true. Evolution takes time. Yeah. I'm sorry if I sound angry too, Zano. Added perspective can either be a helpful addition or it can be a hindrance for growth. Marginalize your intake and allow yourself to assess the new information before we make a declaration. The problem entire I call out is a racist movie, and you're saying let's divorce color from a situation that only exists because of the color of the participants. Not possible for me. The point I'm trying to make, Joy is that if the Blind Side movie with a word-for-word script had a white dude as the basketball or as the football player and a black family as the family, it would have still been a good movie. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? Like, for me, it's not about the skin color. It's not about that, right? For me, it's about a family that took someone in and tried to help them. I know now, in hindsight, that there was like some funkiness going on there as well, and the movie was an embellishment of the actual story, right? And I get that, but again, if it was a black family that took in a white guy, and he said that it's his first bed because he came from a bad family, it would have still made me crack up and made me emotional, right? It's not about the skin color. You can devoid skin color from that movie and it can still be a beautiful movie. It can still be a beautiful story. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, unless I feel like we need to realize that as a species, like, it's not about that. Just have a lot of, in my past and my side of the family in the States is still proud of it. That is rough, Sana. Agreed, the movie is trash. Many slave owners in my family that had slaves way after it was over. Yeah. Fortunately, my family weren't one of those here in South Africa. Slaves weren't really a thing in South Africa. Depending on what you consider slaves, all of us are slaves right now, more so even than we used to be, technically speaking. Nobody took the taco I offered. Here's some for everyone. Love to you. Thank you, Shell. It's nice seeing your name, dear friend. Slaves still exist. Yep. Enough for everyone and beer. So much love. You made the whole entire thing about you and how unfair it is that white people who help the less privileged. I was simply calling out that movie. Stop making everything about you. Okay, Jovi. I wasn't making everything about me. Again, I was making it about the topic, right? About trying to help people and trying to make it easier to help people and talking about things that make it harder for us to help people. I'm not a white savior, right? At least not yet, technically speaking. But apparently I'm going to become one. And maybe this is my practice, dealing with that as a narrative. Making about myself now. Now I am making it about myself. See, now I'm trying to, Joyviv. What would it look like if I did make it about myself? What am I going to do one day when people say this to me? No, right? How are we going to be perceived as people who want to help others in the world? Is there going to, and again, I think of these things in terms of data, right? For every single person that sees a white person help a black family and calls them, oh, you fucking asshole, white savior. For every instance of that, how many instances of more people helping others is there going to be? Now, I can see the correlation going more instances of calling people that to the instances of people being willing to help, you know? And I'm like, oh, wow, now less people than ever are being helped, and there's even more reason for racism. Good. Oh, good, right? That's what I see. And that's what I'm commenting on. It's not about me, Joyviv. It's about all of the other people that aren't going to get helped because of that narrative. It's not about me, right? I don't need that help necessarily. Maybe one day I will, but I'm privileged enough to be born into, I want to read the exact words, to be born into the oppressor race so that I can live on the stolen land. I'm privileged enough. That's my reality. Right? Like, you're saying it's not about me, but you say stuff like that, Jovi. So how am I not supposed to take that personally? Like, please do tell me. Non-alcoholic beer. Love to you. Thank you. Kristen is here. There she is. The non-alcoholic beer. Bless. Which one you choose? It's fine for the privilege to help. Just don't make movies that depict the privilege as having more humanity than the people who have been oppressed. I don't know if that was the case. Weirdly enough, like, thinking back again, right, since the only movie we have, like, I don't know a single other movie. Like, we're talking about this, like, oh yeah, there's like thousands of movies like this, Mel. I don't know of one. And apparently the one that we're talking about right now is the Blind Side movie. And I didn't see the football player having any less humanity. In fact, quite the opposite, right? Like, I felt more humanity in him than any of the other characters. Like, there was less humanity in having everything sorted, like living a comfortable life right from the get-go, right? In my mind, there's like something intrinsically human about experiencing the fullness, the spectrum, right? For me, like, thinking back now to like my time in China, like, China really shook me up and made me realize how much I have to be grateful for here in South Africa, right? And there's people in China that just live that way. They've never known any other way. Doesn't make them less human, not even remotely, right? It makes them more human. So capable of experiencing, so capable of getting used to things as well. Because of past trauma and epigenetics, that's why you have to feel that anger. It's things that we all live with and struggle with. There's no fix. People need to be respected for their differences. And we do that. At least I would like to believe. I don't think I've ever said that we need to all be the same exact person, right? Or that we try to reduce the importance of someone else's differences. I just feel like our differences extend far beyond our skin color. Like the skin color is the least of the difference, right? Again, like it hurts me that I have to say these things because it feels so simple. If there's two black people standing next to me or in front of me, right, there's going to be an infinite amount of depth in both of those individuals, and their skin color is literally going to only be the first few millimeters, right? The infinite amount of depth that is in them is emotional, is spiritual, is mindful in nature. It, it doesn't really have that much to do with their skin color. It might be filtered by it, right? The depth that they have grown into might be filtered by their skin color. And I'll celebrate that part of them. And I'd be more than willing to hear about it. But I'm not going to not help them or not, for example, right? Based on what skin color they have, right? Like they're not going to be less worthy or more worthy based on their skin color. And I feel like that is the point that we all need to reach, is to like stop with seeing that as an important thing, right? It's the same thing with genitalia. Why are we so obsessed with whether or not I have a penis or a vagina? Why does that matter? Why does it matter what our hair looks like? Why does it matter what our clothing looks like? Like, we're so superficial as a society right now that we fight one another about these surface level things, while the real stuff, the deep stuff, the stuff that actually needs working, goes untouched because we're squabbling on the surface level. And I keep seeing it over and over again. I see it in my family, I see it in social media, society at large, and it is concerning. It causes me trouble. It literally keeps me up. People will do whatever mental gymnastics and pivoting to reaffirm the belief systems and personal paradigms. Oh yeah, makes for a good show sometimes. Yeah. Fresh coconut and white rune with a twist of lime powdered over the top of the root beer float, and a plate full of shrimps and a crab. Yep, sounds like heaven to me. That does sound kind of nice, Joshua. I won't lie. Bless you, bro. Systematic racism is enshrined in the US in the form of sundown towns, redlining, and the entire US police force. It is our obligation to shine a light on injustice until it is rectified. I agree, Sam, but there is no injustice in this space happening. That's the point I'm trying to make as well, right? Have you seen me injusticing towards people? Have you seen one of our other friends injusticing towards people? I was trying to beautifully associate and align with Brother Joe Schmo, right? And then this need to see our obligation through to rectify it. It's not any more rectified. It's not any more rectified because there was nothing broken in this space. I get if you're doing that in a political setting, if you're doing so with your family who have racist beliefs, but we're not a family with racist beliefs, right? So for me, it's like preaching to the choir kind of vibe, right? Like we're beyond skin color. We can't even see each other's skin. Like you're technically a full person hiding, I want to say hiding, with the mask of a screen. You can be whoever you want to be, literally. Your skin color doesn't matter. It's not what's important. What's important is whether or not you choose to be loving, you choose to be kind. How are you trying to help other people? Right? That is what's important. The rest of it is inconsequential. If a person spends their whole life helping people, they're not going to be like, oh, Dave, he was black. No, they're going to go, oh, Dave, he helped people. And that's the point, right? At least in my mind, that's where I want to see society go. And I don't think we can rectify it by bringing like race back into it over and over again. See people for who they are, for their actions, for the way they make other people feel, not for their skin color, right? Like Joy V, for example. Like some of us might know Joy V is an African American woman. And yet, Joy V is beautiful for so many more reasons than just that, right? Like one of the things that's beautiful to me is, in part, what's kind of like rough with today's stream as well. Joy V speaks her mind, right? Joy V is not scared of how she'll be perceived. Joy V is willing to be herself, no matter the consequences, right? And that's how I'll remember Joy V if she had to die today. I'm not going to remember Joy V, that black lady. That's so fucking horrible, right? That like just saying that makes me cringe. That makes me fucking cringe. We're all so much more than that. So much more than that. And I don't feel like it needs to be rectified. We see that in this space. Evenly as you frost cake, yellow cake with chocolate fudge frosting. I've never had that. My white family meme era and my black family members all understand how fucked up the past is. We now share blood. Time will heal this divide if we stop reinforcing it. Yes. If we stop acknowledging it, right? It's like a barrier. It's like the separation. I believe the biggest thing, like missing the point, sin, is separation. Right? Like even hell, if you go and look, if you really pay attention to what the biblical interpretation of hell is, it is separating yourself from God. Right? That is hell. And I believe God is everything, everywhere, all of us. And when we are racist, when we refuse to help one another, when we refuse to show up for love, that is when we separate. That is when we're in hell. And the only way for us to be in heaven in that case is to unite, is to come together for love. And by reaffirming, as our beloved brother Joe Schmo said, racism, even acknowledging our skin color, right? It just reaffirms an extra layer of separation, right? It's like, oh yeah, sure, both of us have complex inner worlds, both of us need to eat food and drink water and breathe air. Both of us need to sleep, but you're this skin color and I'm this skin color. So therefore we are now different because I can see it. I can see it with these little eyes of mine. Surely now we're different. Stop reaffirming that. We're not different. We have differences. That is true, and we can celebrate those differences. But when it comes to what's important, right? Love, compassion, what's the other word? Kindness. All of us are the same. All of us like love. All of us like compassion. All of us like kindness. We're not special when it comes to that, fortunately. Document being able to get past things that don't directly affect us, Joe. That's how we get into these situations in the first place. I don't have to be affected by the systemic racism to recognize it's wrong. And we're not saying that it's not wrong. All of us have recognized that it's wrong. You see, the problem is, and again, I shared that, Joy Vive and Sam, and for some reason I got called out for that as well. There is literal, by law, systematic racism being signed in right now, or has been signed in since 2003, technically, in our country. Straight up, systemic racism. Hey, Google, define systemic racism. I mean, it's racism based on the system, right? Our system, our financial system, has it so that if I want a business and I want to work with the government, between 30 and up to 50% of my business has to be owned by a black person, right? That's the system I live in right now, right? And to reframe that to, the American lens, imagine if your actual country had laws where every single black-owned company had to be owned by law 50% to 30%, depending on what tier you want to fall in, by a white person, that would be systemic racism. And we would be like, yes, that's wrong. And then when I verbalize literally systemic racism, it is thrown back in my face as well. So, like, what are we standing up for? And why do we have these double standards, right? Like, that's also something that's concerning me a little bit. Everyone hates the history. We can all agree. Everyone has different experiences. And we agree on that as well. We come together and we share love, share food, and share experiences so that the next generation won't feel it the same way we do. Yes, absolutely. And in that, I didn't even really think about the kids that much, but if there was a child, right? If I had a child that was sitting here next to me, hearing me talk about all of these things, seeing how riled up I get about it, now suddenly he has that in his mind, where if we didn't use terminology like that, if we didn't concern ourselves with whether or not people were white or black, then he wouldn't have that as a frame of reference, right? He wouldn't have the equipment to judge people based on their skin color or not, right? To form an opinion on them based on their skin color. He will only have access to the information that is their actions, that is their way of showing up, that is the way they make other people feel, right? That will be their criteria for judgment, because they won't have access in their minds to any other criteria that that person needs to meet. Like, you're the one that has to solve racism. Like, the system isn't the problem. It's up to all of us to not continue perpetuating it. I just want it to be clear that when people say that they don't see race, it makes racism much, much worse. I don't think we said we're not seeing race, right? I don't think that's what we're saying. I think race shouldn't be the thing we base our importance on, right? Because that is where racism came from in the first place, of white people placing more importance on their race. That's how we get racism, right? And we're still doing that. We're just doing that now for each and every single one of us. Like, we're all forming our own little in racist groups, which doesn't help. Makes it much, much worse, as you said. The reason the issue has caused contention here is because we all live with different sets of facts that guide our lives. True. This is true. Yes, we should talk about our history honestly, not defensively, but it hurts to make us cringe to have been a part of it, so we exercise that together. Yeah. Again, I don't think there's sin in being born. I know that if you believe certain things, you are literally born into sin, but that's not what I believe about my life. Part of the problem here is that Melt is in Africa. He has zero understanding of our racial tropes here in the West. Yes, this is true. Our fractal isn't his and his isn't ours, and we will never understand why. I'm happy that we can kind of say that, because I feel like there was definitely a part of me that felt very misunderstood. Usually I feel very understood in this space, but today especially it was a little bit hard. Like, it are offensive. I get you. Ignoring will make it disappear. No, but not being racist will make racism disappear. Right? It's not ignoring it. Like, I mean, like, if you ignore the seeds in the ground, they disappear. Like, they die if you don't water them and take care of them. Right? So if you stop watering the seeds of racism, surely it will disappear. Am I naive? Yeah? Well, I'm sorry, yo. Guess I'll teach my kids to not be racists one day, I'll try not to ignore it, I guess. No, 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 no. I have blood on both sides of the line. I have a little bit of Indian blood, but I don't think I have any African blood. Maybe. I'll do a DNA test one day. I do have curly hair, technically, which is apparently not a white person trait. Not a pure Aryan breed white person trait. No. Both perspectives of this one. It's not easy thing to fix. Generations of opposing views and complete separation takes time to mend the one soul. But you can't ignore race. I'm not ignoring race. I'm saying it's not important. There's a difference. There's a difference, Zano. There's a big difference, right? Like, again, I have made friends with many people in life. And for me, their skin color wasn't on the radar. It's not that I was ignoring their skin color. It just wasn't important to me, right? I wasn't gauging whether or not I wanted to talk to them based on how dark they are or how light they are, right? Like lightometer more want to talk to versus darkometer not want to talk to. Like there is no meter in my brain like that. And I think that's a good thing. I'm not ignoring the race. It's just not important to me. It's not something that I'm basing my value system on. Please give me credit for not being racist. I get you. That can be believed as well. Don't brush it under the rug. Expose, express your views, and try to heal from the past. Love is true. My skin color and gender informs my entire existence. It can never be divorced from how I move through the world, even as a nameless, faceless avatar on the internet. And I agree with you, Joy Vive. And I feel I did get to a good point. Now I offer you this. If I'm going to remember you, Joy Vive, do you want me to remember you as some black lady? Or do you want me to remember you for the depth of your soul, for the way you choose to express yourself, for your character, for your willingness to show up with love, right? And in your answer, as you're answering me, and I would like to believe you're going to answer me with like, I would like people to remember me for the depth of my soul, but that's my bias, right? That means to me you place more importance on your inner world, on your soul, on your character, on the way you show up in the world than you do on your skin color and your sex, right? Like that is the point I've been trying to make over and over again. So I feel like we are on the same page. We might just understand it differently. What if history before I met you was informed by something you don't see, but it actually was, and you refuse to acknowledge it because of this thing? I had a certain experience in life. I wish my country would give reparations to blacks. I say, but my family was in Puerto Rico and Italy. I think I missed it. In life, and you are a sightless person, but I still had the experience. Almost pointless love, yo. Yeah, Joshmo. I'm trying to as well. Pretending that being colorblind is a thing denies my reality as a person of color, living in a world that very much sees my color and treats me accordingly. Hey Google, define deny. To refuse to admit to the truth of existence. Okay, so if I don't value you or see you based on your color, it's like denying your reality of that. Like this feels just like some mental gymnastics again, Joy Vive, where instantly it brings me back to like, if that is what we're going to do, then we can do that for everybody, right? Because in the same way, I'm a person of, am I not a person of color? Am I colorless? Just seeing myself as like a complete grayed out version of myself, right? That lives in this world, that sees my color and treats me accordingly, right? And living in Africa, that's different. So like I've never had that experience. Like I've never talked to like black friends of mine. Like I'm thinking about Zizi, for example, right? Me and Zizi instantly had a connection, right? So this is how it happened. There was Adam next to me in the car seat. There was me sitting in the passenger seat. I was rolling a joint. There was Liam and I'll have to ask his name again. It was like Yash or something like that. There was Liam and Yash in the car before us. And Me and Adam were like rolling a joint, and I was like telling him about this joke of a movie that I saw, and it came with like sound effects. It was a movie called The Festival or something like that. And then they heard us, and then they came over to our car, and then with them came Zizi. And as I was rolling this joint, Zizi came and like came into the door, and we instantly hit it off and had conversations with one another. And our skin color didn't come up once, right? Not even for a second. It wasn't even remotely of importance. And there was a connection had, right? There was no denying of each other's reality, at least not in my mind. We both saw each other's color and we treated each other lovingly. So again, I get the whole world narrative, but the world is where you take yourself as well, right? Maybe, yeah, again, we've already concluded that my perspective is different to you, Francis. Like, I don't understand the reason we're applying importance on these things the way we are. I'm not racist, you're a racist. No, I can't be racist because of history. Shake my head. There are very elementary trains of thought, and I believed that this group was above that level of banter, but here we are. I've been trying as well, Church Mo. It feels very exhausting, but I guess, you know, today's stream topic was about living life meaningfully, and my intention was to live meaningfully by helping. And I guess this is a way of helping, right? Surely there is something happening in me, in my mind, in all of our minds, that is feeling a certain way. And if anything, we can all feel that this doesn't make us feel better, right? This experience of talking about race in this way makes all of us feel icky. So I'm going to continue my life and do even less so, right? That's how I'm going to live my life more meaningfully. I'm going to help other people by not bringing their race into the conversation, because that's not what's important. Naive. Seth Meyers made a parody called The Movie Trailer. It's on YouTube. A whole genre, pretty funny. Don't say that, Mojo. Yeah. Love you, Mel. Yeah. Okay. What are you making her choose? I can't help how people will remember me, just like I can't help how people will perceive me. Yeah, some people will just remember me as Black Lady. Either way, I won't actually care. I'll be dead. Okay. Okay, Joy Vive. But yeah, I hope I'm remembered fondly. Okay, thank you. I was about to say, yes, Joy Vive. Can you not? And then you actually did say, oh yeah, I hope I'm remembered fondly. And in my wholeness, you are correct. Thank you. That is, I feel like, what we all understand, right? That is our truth. It's not denying someone else's skin color. It is recognizing that the thing of value, the thing of importance, is in their skin color, right? That is their wholeness, as you beautifully said. Nah, but if joy to me is black and women are important parts of her experience, I'm going to listen to her. And I'll remember the parts of her blackness that are important to her. I agree, right? I'm not saying deny that part of her. And if she wants to talk to you about her black womanness, celebrate her. Be like, tell us, Joy Vive, about what it's like being a black woman in accounting. And we'll be there for you to hear about your experience. But we're not going to say, you know, you have to be a black woman in order to be an accountant or something like that, right? Because then we're stereotyping. Then we're drawing lines that can't actually be proven as accurate. We can celebrate one another, but the skin color isn't what's important, right? Isn't the core to the story. Joy Vive, when I envision you in my mind's eye, you are a beautiful black woman, which you absolutely are. I see you as a part of the eternal growth. You are a loved member of my consciousness. You are so much more than color and gender. Absolutely. My bestie who lives in the Midwest is white and also has an instant connection like glue. We've had many conversations about race over the years, yeah, and what connects us to shared values and experiences. Yeah, I can believe that. But again, right, you've had many conversations about race over the years, right? It's not like we have been talking for years about race, right? Like there's a lot more talking about everything else, about all of the other value and depth. And maybe sometimes race will come up. But that's not the core importance, right? That's not what we're going to build relationships on. Sure, you can potentially build a relationship. Maybe you see another person of color at the festival, right? And you're like, oh, another person of color. I'm gonna go talk to this person, and we can form a connection based on that, right? Sure, you can do that. But most conversations, most connections I've made, the skin color of the person wasn't the thing that was of importance to me when I initiated the conversation. Shared experiences, not surface level division. Yeah, I actually don't feel icky about it. I do, 100%, right? Because it's not what I like talking about. I don't talk about race because it's not important to me. It's not. And if that makes me a racist, then I'm sorry. Uh, I don't know how it works. I actually don't feel okay about it. I think it was uncomfortable as hell, but my company has given me lots of training on how to get through these difficult conversations. Yeah, well, congratulations, Shell. I'm a 20-year-old. I don't have companies that teach me how to deal with these things. I'm still some dude, you know. I'm just trying to survive on this side. It feels like we've been in this damn streets for years talking about race, right? Right? It's not like time flies when you're having fun. And it's felt like years that we've been talking about it because we haven't been having fun. So, in my mind, because I don't have fun talking about that stuff, because it's not of value, right? There's no soul value in talking about this stuff in my mind, right? None of us are going to consciously evolve by thinking about this stuff. So, I just don't. I don't race anymore. I used to run pretty fast. It makes you privileged to not have to think about race. Just saying, not trying to poke the bear. Uh, I'm not even going to try and argue with that. I acknowledge that I'm privileged, Joy Vive. I do. I really do. Again, do I have to pay for it now? Do I have to like freaking suffer for it? Do I have to feel bad? Do I have to hate myself as a white person for being white? Right? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Like again, today's whole stream topic was about actionable steps. If we're going to live more meaningfully, if we're going to make our lives more meaningful, I would like actionable steps, right? And today's actionable step was help people. If you feel life isn't meaningful, try helping people, see if that helps, right? And that's pretty actionable. I don't know how you're going to go out and help people, but that's possible. Hearing something like, you don't have to think about race because you're privileged. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that information. Am I supposed to say sorry? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm myself. I'm sorry my dad got with my mom. I'm sorry my dad was a mining engineer. Part of me is sorry about that. Part of me knows that it's necessary. Actually, sorry. I'm a little bit sorry. This property was not stolen, for what it's worth as well, Joy Vive. It had platinum on it, and that platinum was owned by the government. And then our government sold that platinum to Anglo America, to America, actually. And this piece of property didn't have any platinum on it. So it was essentially worthless. And that's where my dad bought the property upon their realization that it was worthless. Right? And now I got to have the privilege of getting to sit here on the ground. I get to sit on the grass. I get to drink water. I get to breathe air. I get to share this moment with you friends. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do other than what I'm doing, right? Again, does it help? Doesn't help. Better late than never. I also DM'd you about that a couple of days ago. You said to visit other cultures, so I'm trying. Plus, I mean, Africa has a lot of culture to experience, Joyvi. A part of me, like, and I know you will never. There's no way in hell that Joyviv would ever do this. And I'm saying it exactly like this to get Joyviv's, interest peaked a little bit. But Joyviv will never go backpacking through Africa or something like that. Even though I think it would probably be the best thing that she could ever do for herself, like ever. Like I seriously, Joy Vive, I honestly believe if you went backpacking through Africa, like I'm imagining like Zim, Congo, Kenya as a line, right? If you go backpacking like that, you will return to America literally so grateful. You'll be in a constant state of bliss. You will lose your mind of how grateful you are for reality. So, yeah, help people. Help people. Help people see how grateful they can be. Yo, Bob, thank you for being graceful, Mel. You're a mature person. Wow. Thank you, Gob, for flattering me so, for helping me. You're helping me right now, dude. Get to bring myself a little bit out of my own mental rut. I was gonna enter in, be my silly self, but I can tell the vibe is sus. So I'll just quietly go to the gym. No, bro. No sus vibes, just a hard stream, man. Like it. I showed up to help, bro, but I freaking bit off more than I can chew. I also think one of the main reasons people to keep their conversation have to keep having these conversations over and over and over is that people are not defining things the same way. This is true. Racism exists, race exists. I don't carry either of those things with me when I traverse the world. I am certain in a certain light due to my color and gender, but I refuse to carry the persona. Exactly, bro. I just try to be less shitty of a human than I was yesterday. Beautiful, bro. If we can all do that, life will be better. You're so mean. Me sleep on the ground. I mean, I was just poking the bear back, Joey. Yeah, get poked. It's fun, huh? It's fun getting poked. Me sleep on the ground in 53 different countries. Yeah, do it. Do it, Jamie. You've been challenged. You'll never do it, Jamie. You won't be able. You're not strong enough to do it, Jamie. You can't handle it. It's meaningful to have these conversations. We're here together. Also, Meltmore. Mr. Shell says, mad props to you for taking on all tough topics. He really respects you a lot. Thank you, Mr. Shell. I honor you too, Brother Bear. Thank you for taking good care of Mrs. Shell and of Shell Jr. I trust that all of these conversations will make me strong enough to be the person I'm supposed to be when that day comes. Conscious evolution, right? Never said it's gonna be fun. I never said, oh yeah, come and consciously evolve with me. It's always gonna be fun. Never did I say that. I didn't say so because it wouldn't be true. It's gonna be rough some days. Oh, okay. Love is true. Respect you too. Words and phrases like mansplaining, feminist, systemic racism, and privilege are useful and important. But before we can have a useful conversation about these topics, we have to have a common understanding of what those terms actually mean. I feel, even though it's very beautiful what you're saying, Loizana, I feel like that's also the thing that makes language such a bad medium for information exchange, technically speaking, right? Because not only do we have different understandings of what those terms actually mean, but the path we had to take to get to that understanding of what that thing means can be so intricate and sometimes even subconscious that it might be impossible for us to fully give that information to another person, even if we spend time trying to have a conversation about it. Defining the margins is key to reaching a comprehensive conversation. Also true. I appreciate America, my privileges. It isn't perfect here. Our homeless encampments are like any shanty towns y'all have. It's rough all over Mel. Agreed. Agreed. The thing is just the difference is uh Like our shanty towns in Africa are like the actual towns, right? Like where you have cities and infrastructure. In Africa, much of that is very missing. And it can really help you become aware of how grateful we get to be. Then there are really unhelpful terms like feminazi, social justice warriors, phrases of contempt created in bad faith to cause division and more hate. Yes, unhelpful terms like feminazi, social justice warrior, white saviors, phrases that create contempt, create bad faith, and cause division and more hate. Yeah, that's what I was saying as well, and I agree. Right in my mind, I believe that that term is in that same camp, and I didn't use the word feminazi. I don't think I used the word social justice warrior as SJWs, even though I have heard the media talking about this. It's not words that I use because I know they're not going to help the space consciously evolve. Meltmore, you're in a college semester with us here, for reals, about 12 people debating a topic. Yeah, my brain is expanding, and you friends are feeling ways and gaining insight, even if you're not directly typing it in chat. That's like the depth that's also being explored. I think we could at least try to agree on definitions of loaded terms before engaging in debate about them. I think so as well. But how would we do that? That's the thing, Noazana. Like, would we type the word and then our own definition for it, and then type that in chat, and then start the conversation? Again, I'm thinking about like the practicality of it. Melt, look up anti-racism. Hey Google, anti-racism. Anti-racism. Anti-racism encompasses a range of ideas and political actions which are meant to counter racial prejudice, systemic racism, and the oppression of specific groups of color. I'm gonna click on this link. I'll click on the Wikipedia one. Racial groups, anti-racism is usually structured around conscious efforts and deliberate action, which are intended to create equal opportunities for all people on both an individual and a systemic level. As a philosophy, it can be engaged in by the acknowledgement of personal privileges, confronting acts as well as systems of racial discrimination, and or working to change personal racial biases. Major contemporary anti-racism efforts include Black Lives Matter and workplace anti-racism. I get you, Zano, but if I had to be anti-racist, my country literally has those, right? Like reading. My country has actual systems of racial discrimination and or personal racial biases, like by law, right? Like there's nothing I can do unless I can change laws. And I happen to be, unfortunately, the minority of my country, right? So I get, like, it sounds very romantic, the anti-racism, but yeah, unfortunately, it's a little bit of an upward battle. Racism is a problem everywhere. Everywhere. Did I miss? Yeah, don't ask, Duck Dad. You're better off not knowing, bro. Good thing in our dictionaries too. That could also be a way. Maybe we can use those words and then read the definitions in the dictionary for them and then start having the conversation. That might also actually be good. I don't think so, Shell. For 12 people, no. For the entire internet, yikes. Yeah. Bruh, America is in its decline. It's sad. Homelessness is at its record high. Our roads and bridges and infrastructure are falling apart. So many Americans apparently want a dictatorship on top of rampant racism. Yeah. Make people suffer and then sell them the solution, right? There's many coups that have happened that way. Love you too, Luke. Today's stream topic has been rough, dude. Thank you for helping me with your loving, strength as well. Dozen of us. Lurkers, love is true. Better learn how to speak Mandarin. Could be one way to do it. I'm sad. Okay, card time. Card time it is. Oh, are you ready? This one. I'm trying to get the right card. This one. Card is red orange. I mean, it does have red orange themes. No green, unfortunately. No green. It's close to the green color spectrum though. We're going with blue. There it is, Zano. Yeah, blue it is. There is, by the Joe Schmoes, a red orange. You can see the light on the owl as well, but the core of the color is blue. Luke, Brother Bear, love to you. Joy if you can come and live with me, I know how to build shelters and hunt. I can make you a radio out of old speakers and spare wires. I haven't figured out to build internet yet. That one's probably going to be hard. Things can get better. New York City in the 70s, for example, had a much bigger hellhole than it is now. Permanent decline isn't inevitable. Yeah. And if you look at the data, the statistics, technically, growth is more likely than permanent decline. Well, I have to learn to share when the end is near, guys. Yeah, learn to share your everything. Where did I hear that line? It was so beautiful. Learn to share your everything. Man, I can't remember where I heard it. But it's this mom who says to her children, they were fighting about, something, and she's like, hey, stop fighting. Learn to share your everything. I have to learn to share. Yeah, you're coming too. Okay. I should read what the card means. Card number 15. The Guardian Owl. The Owl Guardian. Always know the color. Zana was clairvoyant. How do you always know the color? Choivi, we'll let you decide when you get there. Are we learning to share our everything right now? Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Guidance, insight, and intuition. I did pull the card upside down. Yes, see. The guidance of the owl is that you might not be listening to your higher self. She suggests that you reestablish your connection before you wander too far from your sacred center. Okay. Guidance, insight, and intuition. Owls are shamanic and guardian symbols for many cultures around our planet. In Hawaii, the owl is one of the important family protectors and ancestral gardens known as the Omakua. The tetrahedral diamond geometry of this card acts as a mirror of the many facets of your consciousness. The message the owl brings is one of guidance from the intuitive part of your being. Synchronicity and insight are likely indicators at this moment in your life. This is an excellent time to practice meditation and other techniques for connecting with your higher self. One fun and simple method is to try a bit of automatic writing. A great time to do this is the first thing in the morning when you are fresh from dream time. However, any time will do. Clear your mind and start with the intention to connect with your higher self. Write without consciously thinking for as long as it feels right. A paragraph or two is plenty. You may be surprised at the wisdom that comes from your higher self. Cultivating A genuine connection is not difficult. Your higher, making a connection with your higher self is not difficult. Cultivating a genuine connection and appreciating the wisdom that dwells within you aids in your ability to trust yourself, view the many facets reflected within, and allow yourself to listen more closely to the insights and intuitions that are at all times available. Love is true. How about that? Love, love, love. Goodness took a turn. Love, love. The owlet's wisdom. It is in a storm. The sun enlightenment is rising and guiding its winds. I don't know if you can see like the clouds getting a little bit heavier in the back there. And it seems like it might rain again. So like I feel those energies as well. There we go. Bruh, that exposure is so bright. Hey, Connor! New profile picture? Just got home from winter break. Joy. That's motherfucking Grinch. Did I miss something? We're sharing our everything right now. Just got home. Is winter wonderland at home yet? Hope so. Sending you friends lovin's. I think it is time for us to say goodbye. So I'll do something like this. Watch, 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 watch. I've been taught lessons. Let's do it. Let's try and Bard. Hey Bard, can you give me a bunch of adjectives that beautifully and lovingly describe something? No. Did I? They're giving me sensory adjectives. Yeah, okay, okay, okay. I like the adjectives like enchanting and exquisite and unique most of all. Please give me 11 of them and add Lee, like enchanting Lee. Oh no, my freaking message just got yeeted. Bruh, that's not cool, man. That's not cool, dude. Don't use the freaking barred mic button. If you use it again, it just deletes your message, doesn't continue. I really like the other section, like enchanting and exquisite and unique. Please give me 11 more of those and add Lee's at the end of it, like excitingly. Let's see. Let's see if I get the datas. You're like, Mel, this seems like more trouble than it would have been. Yes. Oh yes, this is good. This is gonna be fire. I don't like this is gonna be the first time we've heard ones this brain melting. I don't think I've ever seen some of these words. they're cool though. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do them soon. Let me see. Let me see what messages we have before I leave. My door is unlocked and the tea kettle is hot. Love you, Chauvin. I'm using AI right now to loving message all of us. It's raining like it's Chernobyl. It rained a lot when it was Chernobyl's. We're missing something. We're trying to get Joy Vive to move in with us. Back off, y'all. My Midwestern joy has been a long time in progress. I think Joe Bot's area is nice and central to where we all are. Mine is Melton Simon. I agree. Like Joe has like the ideal setup right now. Like it's such a beautiful place and like pretty cheap as well. Y'all make me blush. I'll move in with Joe. She'll sing for me and all the animals will dance around. Disney princess up there. I'd like to take this quiet moment to express my gratitude for everyone here today and every day. Everything that we discuss and debate holds immense value. Love is true. Ask for adverbs. I should ask for adverbs as well, yeah. With the same amount of enthusiasm as the previous words, please give me a bunch of adverbs as well. I hit send and I come back. No, my door is unlocked. Love is true. Each and every single person here has a valuable contribution to the collective growth and expanded understanding of this human experience. Y'all are loved and appreciated, as we love you too, Joe Schmo. The way you talk to AI makes me think that your Google searches must be paragraph length. Like this is like in the best part is like I'm trying to cut myself short. Usually I like do run-on sentences. Like I'll send like straight up paragraphs. Nah, when you're in the Midwest in winter without snow, it looks like the Ukraine. Dead grass, dead trees, and depression. Ah, I want blooper reel of Melty's Google searches. There's probably like be so many of them. Bruh. I asked for adverbs and it just gave me the exact same words that I asked for before. So I'll just read these. My mind works as a pair of graphs. Release the search history. I mean, you want to see my search history? Anti-racism, black economic empowerment, dry herb vaporizers, Bard. How much does it cost to import a Cybertruck, Cardano, SpaceX, Starlink? Tough times for middle class South Africans. Major changes coming to visas. Like it's not that exciting, bro. Freaking. Let's read this message, shall we? So I'll say, have the mostest, amazingest, beautifulest day, everyone. I wholeheartedly love you all so dearly. Beloved myself and all of you. It freaking yeeted my message when I went into my history. Woe is me. I'm so woeing. All of this privilege and I don't even get to not suffer this reality I'm suffering. Okay, I got it back. And all of you, ethereally, starlit, wind-kissed, gleefully, emerald-veined, crystal-dewed, sun-dappled, whisperingly, moonlit, autumn-kissed, rainbow-hued, exuberantly, fire-lit, magically, beautiful friends that go out of their way to help others. I appreciate you so much. There it is. Yeah, I get another one. More loving messages. Those were cool words though, right? Some of those words are pretty freaking cool. I haven't actually read them. You know, like I haven't been able to read those words or say them before. Which one was the coolest? Starlit silhouetted, wind-kissed gleefully, emerald vein lusciously, crystal dewed sparklingly, sun-dappled merrily, whispered-leafed secretively, moonlit-leaved silverly, autumn-kissed fiercely, rainbow-hued exuberantly. What a dude! No, Bard is ripping us a new one. Okay, we got another one. I think dolphins are wearing hats now. Sounds pretty sick, actually. Have the most meaningful day, everyone. Yar for so superly, bigly, duperly, muchly appreciates. Momentous, melt more, and all of you, oh so very significantly, magnificently, efficiently, splendiferously, beautifully, authentically, all wholesome, humanimal critter creatures, taking a moment to assign your meaning. Love is true. Thank you, Joe. Double Shanified messages. Love you, Shanansky. Thank you, Luke, for offering that love to the world as well. You were loved, fire stakingly. Yeah, Joy, you did what my mind was doing with the emojis. Yeah. Dolphins. How would dolphins wear pants? Type in chat. Love is true. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again soon, tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Oh, I think I missed Mojo's comment. This was a challenging stream, but I feel like we ended up closer to each other than ever. Speaking for myself, anyway. Putting my arms around myself and imagining giving you a hug, Mojo. All of you friends. Yeah. Love is true, right? Like, I feel we get closer when we stay, right? If we run away and we're avoiding these conversations, that's when we feel shattered. That's when we feel like we're not close. But the fact that we stayed, despite the uncomfort, that's what makes us feel close. Thank you, Mojo, for echoing. Love you guys and all of your adjectives and adverbs. Exquisite, love, Luke, love to you. I'll be putting everybody on MF Doom this Christmas. Please do, bro. I'm still looking forward to seeing your animations, bro. Send it when you can. Card color was blue, if somebody's asking. Love is true. I'll see you again